Hey, everybody, welcome to Speaking of Schmoedown. I almost said SEN Afterlife, which is a show that's not been around for a while. I love my
professionals, people.
I had a killer intro for that show. I really did. And it was even better when the show started and Kaylin was with me because, like, we would say our names back to back and it sounded really cool and shit. But if anyone wants to go check that show out, do so on Merc with the Movie blog channel. Most of it is audio only, but dude, we had Katie Sackhoff on there talking about Schmoedown and the Schmoes back in the day. We also had Roca and Smets and Winston Marshall, Kate Mulligan, all kinds of people, David B. So if you want to check those out, go for it. But no, this is Speaking of Schmoedown, which is a sports talk show devoted to the movie trivia Schmoedown. And we've got a light day today, a short day today. It's just going to be an hour-long show. And no hot matches. We do not have a guest. We're just going to hang out and enjoy each other's company and talk shit about whatever we want to. There's a slight echo. I don't know. You work on that, Frenchie, and let me know what you can. I'm going to mute one by one. All right, cool. Sorry. And I'm sitting here reading the producer's notes out loud. I love it. But let's go ahead and start off with we had Harper and Eric Whiteley was our first match. Continuing the Star Wars tournament. Dude. Well, is it me? Is it me? It is me. You guys go ahead and talk for a second.
I'm frozen, I think.
No, you're good.
Oh, I was frozen on my end. So, yeah, I actually was impressed with Eric Whiteley a little bit, but I kind of figured because of Thomas Harper, I kind of knew that he was going to be just as dominant as he was with his first match. So I'm not surprised that Thomas didn't take the win. And so, yeah, that's just my initial thoughts right from the get-go.
Yeah, I'll pick it up from you. Yeah, I think outside of Thomas going perfect again and still playing 2 matches and not having missed a single question, which is not something I don't think any competitor's ever done, or very few if it's a thing that has happened before. Yeah, Eric was much improved over his first performance, and it's kind of like when Thomas played Witt. Like, there was a clear improvement in Witt's performance there, but it's hard to praise that because he still lost. So it's the same thing here. Like, Eric definitely played better than he played against Hoey. It's just unfortunate that it didn't result in a win. Because Thomas he's proven to be the heavyweight everyone built him up to be.
Yeah, even on our channel, even when we were first interviewing him before the draft, everything that he was saying when he was pitching to getting picked up, if I was a manager, I'm like, this is the guy that I want on my faction. So I'm definitely pleased that, yeah, my prediction is coming true, that, yeah, he's going to be a future champ, but he still has a long road ahead of him. What do you think, Dagan?
Yeah, I think, for sure. He's obviously the favorite, I think, to win the tournament at this point. We'll see what he can do against Ace. I mean, that's like going to be the real test, I think. But like the fact that he's gone perfect in these first couple matches is just super impressive and like really hard to do, especially in Star Wars. So, yeah, I would put money on Harper winning the tournament and potentially even winning the title down the line. So, yeah, I really like him so far. But also, both Hoey and Witt, as kind of you guys were talking about a bit already, impressive performances by Whiteley and Witt. And I think both of those guys, like I heard some people saying maybe play each other for one of those guys to get their first win. But yeah, I mean, nothing to hang their head about in terms of these guys' matches as well, because they both played really well. They just were up against really tough talent for sure.
Yeah, and we'd like Dan said, we first me at least was impressed with Harper before they even drafted when we talked to some rookies. I honestly, nothing's gone the way I thought any of it was going to go in Star Wars. I legit thought that that Damon would retain the title all season. I thought that Thomas Harper would go through the tournaments, and that he would end up facing Ace, and that he would most likely beat Ace and go on to play Damon, but it didn't happen.
You're lying, Jay Wade. You said Kelly will take away the belt. Don't lie.
Yeah, that's what she said when Demolanta was here last week. That Kelly was going to take the belt away.
Well, yeah, because I'm a Laura Kelly shill.
So
I'm with you though, Jay. I'm with you though, Jay. I've been saying Laura Kelly is going to win the belt all year. Like, I think she's.
I want her to.
I do too, and I just have this image in my mind of like her as the face of the Star Wars division in the Schmoedown. So like, I don't know what it is. It's like maybe it's the Force or something, but like, I think she's going to win the title. But like, Andrew Demolante's just been playing on a whole other level recently, but he missed in that match against Damon, that last match. So like, there's potential that she could get him in a couple of those misses if that were to happen again.
Harper just impresses me more and more every time I see him. It's like every match I see him play in, he moves higher up in my rankings of who I think has a shot at everything. I don't know. It's gonna be. I'm really looking forward to the Demolanta and Laura Kelly match. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I think even though I think Demolanta will win the match, I think Laura Kelly will definitely get him a run for his money. I think this will be like going to the 5-pointer, maybe even overtime. But I think Demolanta will win because I think he is that good as a competitor.
Could go either way. Really could.
I mean, that's this entire division, though, is like everyone's playing at this point at like an 85% or above accuracy at the minimum. So it really is just who's going to get that one question they just don't quite remember, because you can assume they've probably studied it. It's just how much were you able to retain from that studying? Because you guys are talking about the title match, I'd give the edge to Demolanta. I think Kelly is a great player, but I think since that first match where we saw them play, I think Demolanta has grown more as a player than she has shown, at least. But again, it's truly like 51-49 to give the edge to somebody in that match.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to throw in here for our YouTube viewers, if you want to go over to Stereo, the Stereo app at the Jcast Network or at JWade1134, or no, at Frenchie77. Is that right, Frenchie?
Something like that. I don't even know my own handle, bro.
Sorry, I forgot which one we were using. My point is, if you'd like to go over to Stereo, go to the Jcast Network, and you can leave us comments, ask us questions, but express your opinions too. We'll play them here on the show. So, yeah, Whiteley did really good. I want to see him play another match, but obviously we have to wait until the tournament's over before anything like that would happen. But I mean, and that's kind of the hard thing about these is when someone comes in, they play a match, and if you lose a match, it maybe takes a while before you play again. I played a singles match in multiplex fan leagues. I lost, and I'm still waiting for a second match, and that was 2 years ago. It had nothing to do with my poor performance. Now I'm starting to realize after 2 years, maybe it's a me thing. Maybe they just didn't like me. And then David B and I played a team match. He and I were a team. God, that went horribly bad for us. And
is that available to view somewhere on the internet, or is it just lost to the relics of space and time?
Go to multiplex. Just go to multiplex and look back about a year. Go back about a year, man. And is me and David B. What was the name of our team? That one time, I think, was the name of our team. That one. So, and it's
pretty true.
I mean, Frenchie likes to talk about Old Man Wade. That was full on old man Wade. I had on my buddy's army hat that he had it when he served in Iraq. I had on my red sunglasses, dude, and I was in full old man mode, and I was grumpy, and I disagreed with everything. And my
So
answers.
you were yourself.
Oh, yeah. But I do want to argue something.
Play to your strengths, I guess, huh?
Yeah, and this is going way off track, but who cares? It's a nice, lovely day outside, and we're just kind of chilling. But just real quick, and then I'll get off on myself because it's so awesome.
That's subject to opinion.
I tend to do the thing where if I don't know the answer, then like if it's like, you know, who played so and so in this movie, and I don't know the answer, I'll be like, it wasn't Natalie Portman. And I mean, you know, like, so even though I don't get the point, technically I know I'm right. So anyway,
that's not going to get to the points though, man.
The next match of the week was we jumped back into teams, which are becoming more interesting for me personally over digital. I wasn't a big fan of them over digital format at first, but now they're becoming a lot more interesting. And I realized that when they go back to studio, I want them to be mic'd up because I want to hear their discussions when they're trying to sort out the answers to movies. And that's one of the most interesting things. But what do we think of that match? I mean, JTE and Roka, man, they're on fire here so far.
Yeah, that was actually, I was discussing with Tim Sim like a couple of weeks ago, where we were kind of picking who was going to win which matches. And I said that, you know, Rushmore was probably going to win the match. So with Lightning Time, sad to me because I lost the points in the fantasy league, but oh well. But yeah, this just proves that JP is as strong as he was when he left. So we can definitely expect a great finals next week, which I'm looking forward to, and hopefully, because they almost went perfect. I think they missed only one question in round one. They picked up a steal in round two. They got all their questions in round two, and they didn't have to do their round three. So, I mean, technically, I know that we're going to go into this a little bit later, but it's like they could have won that match had Lightning Time avoided the TKO.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I don't know. JT, I love JT. Like what he presents to us, you know, because none of us really know him in person. But what we know of him, I like him. Great guy, really funny, really down to earth and nice. But to be honest, I've always looked at him as more on the character side than the trivia side of it. And I don't know, maybe I'm just in denial here, but even though he is doing better than I expect him to, mainly because he had the couple year hiatus. But I'm still kind of trying not to get ahead of myself on JTE. No matter how well he performs. I don't know. I just maybe I'm just disappointed because we're not getting more mispronounced words and names and stuff. That's what I'm really in it for when I watch a JTE match, to be honest.
Well, here's the thing, Jay. I mean, what's different this season and I think might be different from when he was in the Schmoedown before is I think he's actually putting in the time to study this year, which last time he was here, I feel like he was playing more off of what he already knew about just movies that he'd seen. This year, I think he's actually studying and taking notes and stuff, and I think that like that has given him more of a push to like win those titles back. And I feel like he is obviously exceeding everybody's expectations because nobody really had expectations for him this year. They were just like, oh, it's just JTE. But like, oh, just JTE this season is a whole different JTE. Arguably, he's having the best season he's ever played. So I think that, you know, you could maybe start to look at him a little bit more. Yeah, he might not necessarily win the titles. I think if it's a scenario of Rushmore if they somehow win this tournament, and I feel like they could beat Corruption, but I'm not so sure about beating the Odd Couple or Shazam. So, but I think he has potential to get there. I think we've seen that already this season.
Yeah, for me, JTE is doing exactly what I expected him to do. So on one of the other shows I'm a part of, and I've made this joke before on Schmo Talks, I take 12% credit for Barbarian and JTE being together because they both guested on a show on my channel together, and it was the first time they'd met. Now, I won't get into the details of it, but once the show was over, we started talking about Schmoedown, and Barbarian was bringing that passion out of JTE from the first moment they met. And JTE mentioned that he'd spent most of last season being ready to play. There were other things that got in the way of him doing so, but he was ready to come back and play more regularly, and he just never got the chance to. So I think he's taking full advantage of that this season, and he's playing exactly the way that I think he would have. My thing with this, and it's a worry that I have with the Finstock Exchange as a whole, is they're bragging about hang the -1, hang the -1, hang the -1. Well, if you keep doing that, then you're not getting a lot of in-game practice at that round 3, and you can train as much as you like, but training and playing are two different things. And my worry is when we finally have to see them push into a round 3, because the only example we really have of it is Brother Lomas, and that did not go very well for him. And my hope is that, JT and Roca are way more experienced than a Brother Lomas, but my worry is that if they're so focused on hang the -1, they're not prepping their players for round 3 as much as they could. So I think it'll be interesting to see when they finally get pushed to that limit, and the team they're playing next week will certainly do that.
Yeah, and hold on one second, Dan. Sorry. And talking about all this, it made me think about something. Given what Roca said about this 200-page dossier and the way they drafted and all of this effort that they put into it, and this is kind of going back to what I was saying as far as me questioning JT's competitive level. I don't know, man. Now I'm wondering, do we think that the Finstock Exchange, given what they went to make their draft, would they have even drafted JTE unless he was up to a certain level that they expect? And you know what I mean? Because that's me kind of questioning myself, but asking you guys what you think.
Well, I'll take this because this actually goes into what I was about to say. That JT was actually really good right from the get-go. There was only like maybe a few spots in like season 2, like one season where he was like in a real slump. But if you take with the teams tournament, he had that belt for over a year. That you don't get that. You don't keep those belts by just having one strong player. You need both people being well balanced. So I think that, yes, this goes to the comment that, yes, there was that time of studying with the Finstock Exchange, but JT was already kind of good to begin with. And I kind of agree with Dagan, where he's just practicing on his own and he studied, and now we're getting a much stronger JT than we ever got before.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with what you're saying 100%. And it's like I said, like, obviously we're not seeing it on screen because they're not partners. But I can say for a fact that JT and Barbarian had a really good like friend connection the moment they met each other. So I can only imagine he is working with him as closely as someone like Roca is. So even if it's not like JTE developing his own self-studying habits, he's getting it from one of the best people who's developing those study habits. So he's got good people around him. It's not just that partner on his side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like the LGR guy. Yeah, sorry, the LGR guys were talking last night about how like, yeah, that like the JTE. Sorry, I've like totally lost my train of thought now. So like that those study sessions that they have for the Finstock Exchange, that you might not see Finstock himself as much on screen. I mean, he's kind of got this gimmick where he's working on the set and he's got the walkie-talkie call and he's like trying to manage on his phone or whatever. It's just so silly. But with the actual study sessions, and this is what LGR was saying, was just that like, I think it was like ASG was pointing out that we don't see what happens behind the scenes, but he could be very involved in those study sessions more than you might know, and really like pushing those guys to put in the work. And I feel like it's paid off for Roca and JTE and Barbarian to all kind of be there, and these other rookies as well. I feel like are feeding off of that, and we've seen it, and they've proven it in the results with all the wins that they've gotten. I mean, you look at the standings here, and they're 2-2. So
yeah, sorry, we got to move on to sexy numbers here. Sorry.
absolutely, yeah.
My
I
side,
couldn't
Jake.
anyway.
And I'm actually, this is your sign that I am going to try to understand, because I put my glasses on so I can read it and try to understand what we got going on here. But right now, everybody,
I'm going to talk dirty to you for a second. Math.
it is time for Double D's sexy numbers. Everybody, Double D, take it away, buddy. What do we got going on?
Okay, so Aaron. So with statistics, we have one major rule, the number one rule, the golden rule, and that is we don't set out to prove anything, but we try to make predictions based on past performances, and hopefully we're correct. Sometimes we're wrong, sometimes we're right. Most of the time we're right because we have good information. So the question that I have for here is, we have a number one contender match at Collision, and who's going to win that number with Kevin Smith? So who's going to face Kevin Smith at Collision? And we have two people right now. We have Marisol McKee and Janine the Machine. That's going to happen next week.
Right.
So, hold on. Whoops. Okay. So here is this infamous equation that I introduced last week, and it's basically a probability equation. And to simplify it, it's X minus the competitor's average, divide that difference with the competitor's standard deviation, we get Z. When you solve for that, you get Z. And we look up Z in a Z table, and that gives us our probability. And depending on what information we're looking for, we have to do some extra steps. But other than that, that's basically what we do. So you don't have to do anything. I promise. I've done all the work. It's exactly like high school for me.
Okay, perfect.
So the first thing up is the match that we're going to have. Marisol won her match against Video Drew. Can she defeat Janine and Kevin to get to that title match? The second thing is maybe Janine wins her match against Marisol. And I made a mistake with Video Drew, but ignore that. But can Janine beat Kevin Smith to get to that title match? So those are our two possibilities. There was a third one, but I X'd that for time. So based on this information, based on these two scenarios, who do you think is more likely to win?
Now, just so I'm clarified, I'm picking who's more likely to win between Marisol and Janine, or is Kevin included in this?
Marisol and Janine. Who's going to win?
Marisol. I think Marisol is more likely to win.
Okay. So let's do some math. Now, last week we used an opponent's median because it's the competitor's average, competitor's standard deviation. X is going to be last week was the opponent's median, which is basically a fancy way of saying the middle number of the data set.
Yes.
This week we're going to use the highest and lowest scores of the opponent. So for Marisol, it's Janine's highest score and Janine's lowest score, and the difference between that. So just to kind of clarify that.
Sure.
So for Janine, she has a 59% chance of scoring somewhere between Marisol's highest and lowest scores, and Marisol has a 77% chance of scoring somewhere between Janine's high and low scores. Now, you may be thinking, like, wait a minute, shouldn't it be like 41 or 23? This is kind of confusing. Well, let's go back to high school a little bit, and we're taking a test. Each of us has a possibility of getting 100% on that test, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, some of us are going to get wrong, but if you get like a higher score, let's say you get a 95%, your results are not going to affect how I do on that test, correct? No. So that's why these numbers are not as even as it was last week. So think of it in terms of like score tests, but don't think of like 70% equals a C or 50% equals an F. Don't think like that. we're just equating like, okay, Marisol has a 70% chance of winning, doing better than Janine. That's basically who has the bigger number. That's all we're looking at.
Right.
So from this data, we're seeing that Marisol will win against Janine. Now, against Kevin Smith, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be the same thing. So who do you think is going to win in this matchup?
This one I think is a lot closer, but I actually lean towards Kevin Smith.
It's actually not close at all. And according to the past data, Kevin Smith has a 71% chance of winning. And yeah, Jay, yeah. And Marisol has a 36% chance at this. It's not good. Well, let's go with Kevin Smith and Janine. Who do you think has the better odds of winning?
I'd still favor Kevin.
Well, you're right. But oddly, it's actually 98% with Kevin Smith and 49% with Janine. So based on these results, it seems like Kevin Smith will probably win the #1 contender match. But Marisol, being the most likely candidate, she has the better chance, well, kind of the better chance because Kevin Smith is lower. Even though Marisol's is a little bit lower than Janine's, I think Marisol has the best chance of actually beating Kevin. But honestly, I think Kevin Smith is going to win that match. But we'll have to wait and see till Collision to find that out. But you know what? Let's hear what Roxy has to say. What do you think, Roxy?
You had the sexiest numbers by far.
Thank you. Thank you, Roxy. I love that. I appreciate that.
Yep, man, and she knows all about those sexy numbers too, guys.
Yep.
That's for not. I mean, I understood most of it, but I will be honest. There at the start, some of it went over my head, so yeah. I was over here singing in the private chat, and what I typed in was just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He took that midnight train going anywhere. And that was for you, Frenchie. I was thinking of you when I typed that in there, and I was serenading you, if you will.
Oh, it's not because I have a jersey of Detroit, right? Did you want to serenade me? It has nothing to do with my jersey.
I don't even. I mean, now that you show me that's Detroit, I realize it, but I didn't really think about it. It was
subconscious, my friend, subconscious.
It was mostly because my fondest thoughts of you are at night when I'm laying in bed. Anyway, that's a little bit too much.
Yeah, that's not so much for my taste. I mean,
why am I getting? Basically say you fantasize about me, and then you kick me out. Really, Jay? Wait.
Well, he does that to everybody, Frenchie. I mean, look what happened last week at Inter Alonso.
David, can you do me a favor? Can we get the sexy numbers on Jay's fantasies about Frenchie?
Oh, no, I'm not touching that. I'm backing up very slowly. I can't go any further.
And moving on to the subject.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, when it comes to that, there's only one number that matters, and it's actually right there on the screen. Marisol McKee, that's 50. See, 69 was. Now that I put my glasses on, it's 59%. That was blown. Fuck it all to hell. Okay, guys, now it is Frenchie's corner. Let's get all these yahoos out of here. Bring Frenchie up here so he and I can debate about something. I don't know. What do we got today, Frenchie? How you doing, man?
Well, one of the subjects is debating how long you last when you fantasize about me, but no.
All night, baby. All
right. You're one of those. No. Look, bonjour tout le monde. Happy to be back. That being said, the first subject, and it's going to be an interesting one because it's very divided, and a lot of people love them or they hate them, right? My first subject is, if I can properly do this shit, give me a second. All right, it's been a long week, okay? Will Rushmore going to run like the Patriots? Look, JTE is renowned to be a team player. He's definitely a team player. He did the impossible, defending it 9 times last time with the Patriots. He might have found his match with Roca. Roca is as good as Snyder. Fitting is weird, right? They shouldn't work together, but they kind of do. Does that translate to the next Patriot run? Let's start with you, my friend. What do you think?
Yes, of course they will, man.
That was a confident yes. Yeah, I guess so.
No, because I'm sitting here trying to think. You said that. Oh my gosh, you actually compared Roca and Snyder.
Yeah,
dude, Roca is
far. Come on, no. If you're gonna say like they're tit for tat, no, Jay-Wade, come on, bro. They definitely are on par. Are they the same type of players? No, but they're in the same caliber. Okay.
No.
Yeah, bro. Come on.
Character-wise, yes, they are. Character-wise.
No. Knowledge-wise, look, are they multiple champions? Yes. Do they excel at putting their partner in making super teams? Yes. Okay. JTE and Roca, I'm sorry, I qualified them as a super team with the run they had. That being said, are they the weakest of the super teams? Most probably, because their last match they didn't win. The opposite team lost. So my answer is no. They're really good. They might make some waves, but something along the way is gonna happen. They're both hot and cold in situations, right? Put them as a team, yeah, they can complement each other, but at the same time, something's gonna happen to make them freeze and do the inevitable is lose. Now, Duty can still do a big run, yeah, for sure. But even the Patriots, you would take them before and put them in today's day and age of game, they wouldn't have the same run, right? So I don't think if the Patriots can do a run in this modern Schmoedown, even less likely that the Rushmore could do it. So
this whole debate here hinges on Snyder, and you're saying Snyder is better than Roca. That's what it's coming down to here, and that is absolutely not.
No. It's not what I'm. No. Don't do it.
Knows that the reason the Patriots were as good as they were was because of.
Jay-Wade, are you becoming my ex? Are you becoming my ex and twisting my words, bro? Come on.
Dude, no,
it's not what I said. I said that they're an amazing team, and I'm not saying. I just said also they're on the same tier level. They're not better one or the other. That being said, in today's day and age, going to that run is even harder unless you're Damon. Even though we saw what happened with Damon, right? Unless you're really in a specific category, to do in teams and singles is the hardest thing to do. Let alone, especially in this day and age, where the competition is so depth, has so many chances to get stolen that belt, right? So look, they're an amazing team. They might even be champions, but this is not the argument. The argument is not are they going to be champions? The argument is, are they going to run?
Yes, they will. I repeat it again, dude. You take the Patriots. Everyone knows that the reason the Patriots had that success was Snyder. Okay, and now what's the only common factor between Rushmore and the Patriots? JTE. So now you take his current partner.
Thank you, Dagan. Thank you.
I don't care what Dagan says. Be quiet back there in the back. You take his current partner's Roca, and Roca is a much stronger competitor on all levels than Snyder is. So if that's the case,
but you're not putting into consideration the equation of today's day and age of Schmoedown. We're not talking about the ones that had almost no rules, and the competition was like always the same thing. They keep recycling. Now you don't have recycles anymore. Anyways, it's okay. Like usual, we don't agree, but hey, we have another subject. This one is another doozy. Will Deception be champs by the end of the season? Because what I saw, Corruption Show, what I saw beforehand, okay, in their match is they are a killer team. But shit happens, right? they lost it. They dropped the ball. That being said, doesn't mean that it won't be an evolution to winning, right? I look at what I saw. They have even better chemistry. Did Marisol McKee F it up? No, because she actually, in my opinion, directed Collins the right direction at the last question. She got Born correctly. It's the specific Born movie that she didn't, but she was that close. And if you're at that close, bad luck happens. Doesn't mean they're not going to win. So in my opinion, in my books, they are definitely going to be team's champion at least once by the end of the year. What about you, man?
Amazingly, yes.
Okay.
And exactly what you were talking about, that discussion that they had on the final question that brought them around to Born. That is why I was saying earlier that I want, when they go back in studio, I want the players mic'd up, because I want us to be able to hear that, man. Now, that doesn't mean the other team won't be able to hear it.
No.
As the fans will, and I think that would be amazing. That was the most interesting part of any team's match that I've seen so far, was that exchange between them at the end. But they're all interesting. But anyway, yeah, dude, I can't believe we agree.
Whoa. Give me a second. Last time was Chris. The newbie apparently has an opinion. I see you shaking your head, Aaron. All right, look, to take up Frenchie. There you go. What do you have to say, Miss Aaron?
All right. First off, for the corruption chill up top, all right, they're a good team. Sure, they will probably win a belt in another year. I think it's still too soon for them. The fact is, in both singles, especially for Collins, and in teams, they have shown proficiency in round 3. Both of their wins of a team as a team have been knockouts where they haven't had to go to round 3. They are 2-2 in teams. Both their wins come against rookie or struggling teams. Blackjack had Janine, who, as much as we love her, is 50-50, and Jacoby Bancroft, who is still a rookie. Lethal Weapons had Guy coming off of his worst match of his career and playing another stinker. But Aaron, when they play big teams like the Odd Couple and Danger Zone, they don't win. They haven't got there yet.
Aaron, I get on the stats level, right? But you're forgetting one of the most important things, especially in teams, is chemistry and personal evolution, okay? Marisol McKee, when she started to now, is a different beast. Colin was always a beast, but even more of a beast now. The communication they had in this match is bar none, probably Elston Lightning Time's communication, is incredible. She gave them a chance to win, but fell slightly short. But that her giving a chance is not the same Marisol McKee I've seen in the past, right? She's evolved. So you give her to the end of the year, especially with the way teams are going. There's a lot of super teams that, they're good, but like Lightning Time, they're amazing, but they fell short. So you'd start taking them out, right, one by one. You only have a couple handful of teams that can really compete on Deception's level. So for me, it really equals out the odds. But again, stats, I get it. But this is not about stats. This is personal progression, bro.
Well,
yeah, and here's the...
I'm gonna throw something else at you and
pile on
and lay it on you.
Come on.
Double here. Dude, I think hands down it's safe to say that Bateman and Merle are the super team in the Schmoedown.
Sadly.
And they did not win that match. Deception lost.
Yeah.
And that is a very key point, and that does matter very much. Dude, yes, they came away with the victory, but they did not win that match. And Deception, yeah, man, what I saw last night in that match, yes, they will be champs by the end of the season.
All right, but enough about me and Jay Wade. Aaron, we'll keep you on because I'm curious, to see, especially to hear about the first subject. We're going to bring on our co-hosts here, see what they say about today's Frenchie's Corner subjects. So let me just add in Dan here. All right, so I'm out. Have a good conversation, boys.
Okay, so first of all, with the Deception being Team CS at the end of the year, they could actually be champions. There is a path forward where they could actually be champions a lot sooner rather than later, because I think the first contenders match would be at Collision, and it's usually the last two teams who have faced each other, who faced off against the champions. So if Deception become, obviously they're I would say if they could actually get it sooner because they would face Lightning Time or
Right.
So yeah, they could win it by collision, and then maybe I think they could do that, but I disagree with you, Frenchie, about Rushmore not winning because Rushmore didn't even play around 3, so technically they did win because they didn't play the round 3. So, and I think that JTE would have and Roka would have won had they gotten to it. So what do you think, Dagan?
Yeah, I would like to see that scenario of like Lightning Time versus Deception, potentially in a number 1 contender match, or at least like the winner of that match faces whoever comes out of as the loser against like in the corruption versus whoever wins the tournament scenario.
Yeah.
So I would definitely like to see how that plays out because yeah, Deception are just an incredible team, and I think a very strong possibility of them winning the titles by the end of the season, or at least next season for sure. Like I feel like they're gonna win those titles at some point, and there's a potential for Marisol McKee to be double belted, which is crazy to think about. But she's just playing that good right now, and I think she's like on a whole other level and just one of the best like sophomore seasons I feel like we've seen in the Schmoedown recently. So yeah, I would think that they have a very good shot at those titles.
Yeah, obviously I got to give my thoughts on it on screen. That's not to say they won't win in another season. I just think this year, now that they're not on screen to fight me, they've already played 2 of probably the top 5 or 6 contenders in Odd Couple and Danger Zone. They didn't win. I have a hard time seeing them beat Shazam right now. Depending on how Rushmore continue to play, that might be difficult. Corruption may be the only team they could take. So I don't really know. In terms of the first question, I don't think the Rushmore nor any team will ever do a Patriots-like run. And this is something I've noticed going back and watching old matches for a show that I do. But a lot of the Patriots run, some of their wins were hinged on absolute dumb luck, right? They beat Team Trek because there was an issue with one of Team Trek's buzzers. They beat MODOK because Matt actually kept screwing up getting caught in character. Little things like these that play into the luck of your run are things that don't exist because now they have the budget to upgrade the tech, and the people who are doing heavy characters are much more figured out on how to handle it while still playing. So I just think these things that like the matches where they weren't the top team at the moment during that match, they got that little extra luck help to win. I just think nowadays in the league, those factors won't play into it. It will be who's playing the best or who's having an off day. So I just have a hard time seeing any team going on a 9-run win.
Yeah, because I was just also thinking about how there was a challenge between the Patriots versus Top 10 where Roka got flustered. I think it was a betting round, and
yes,
it was the Jane Fonda incident. Now that I remember, it was the Jane Fonda incident, and he didn't write it down. And it was like, and there was a big discussion of that. We're not going to have that any. I hope we don't have that anymore. So no, I don't think we'll ever see another Patriots run because
Jane Fonda.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think we'll ever see another Patriots run because the league is just this good now, and the only person to actually do that would be Alex Damon. But I don't think that's a guarantee anymore because he's now dethroned with the Andrew Demolanta. So I don't think we'll ever see another Patriots run ever again.
Thank you for agreeing with me, man. But
not always, but most of the time.
Yeah, well, you win some, you lose some. All right.
Yeah.
Wait. Your turn. Talk.
Yeah, sorry, man. I'm
Wake up.
I'm awake, man. I'm awake. I'm just trying to find the polls because we're gonna talk the last 10 minutes about the polls that Christian put up as far as factions,
which I haven't seen yet. So this should be interesting.
Okay.
I can't find the exact polls.
Well,
but
in the meantime, let's continue.
It's like 8 factions, 8 competitors, 7 factions, 10 competitors, and I forget what the other one was. I think it was 8 and 7 or something.
yeah, but yeah, basically it was like, make more factions with less players, and then like make it where each team. The one I was that sounded interesting to me was the one where each faction gets 7 players, and they have to have 2 singles, 2 Inner Geekdom, 2 Star Wars, and then the last the 7th spot. It's very interesting, dude, because we've talked about it a lot on this show as far as the factions and expanding more and stuff like that.
I still want to have an expansion draft that, every faction has a protection list. Let's say you can only protect 3 players, and the extra faction drafts 1 out of every team, and that comprises their faction plus like rookie draft, right? I want something completely different that will shake up things. Just limiting a number of factions with a number of competitors is not, in my book, shaking up that much unless he provides a twist to it. I want something completely different. So that's my point of view. And I don't think the expansion draft was on the options, right?
No, I have it here right now. I'll read them real quick. The 3 choices in this one, at least, because I did see 2 different ones.
Yeah.
But one was 8 factions, 8 per team, 9 factions, 8 per team, or 10 factions, 7 per team. And I do like the idea of having more factions. If that means the faction has to drop the amount of players they can have, that's fine with me. Because to be honest, the way it is now, it seems a little bit. It seems like maybe they have too many players.
Yeah.
But real quick, Frenchie, before we get to you, we do have a comment that just came in on the stereo.
That's why I did this.
Oh, all right, cool. And it is Fairs from Let's Get Ready Network.
All right.
Honestly, I do have a question. I don't really think they should expand. There's already a lot of people now, and there's not a lot of people getting matches. So if we expand, it's going to be a lot more people who don't get matches. Because let's be honest, there's certain people in the league that are like, you just don't want to watch them play because you just don't give a shit about them. Like, there's only like 10.
Ferris.
I'll say this.
Look,
I don't
care about. So honestly, I don't think they should expand. But if they do expand, how do they expand? To be honest,
expansion draft, it solves everything. You can still limit your players, right? And you do a send down of certain players to the FCL, but you do an expansion draft because you want to shake it up. Let's say you can only protect 2-3 players out of your 8 roster. You have to start thinking, there's 4 divisions, right? Which division do you kind of sacrifice? There's so many plays you can make and ways you can construct your new faction, but also limiting and making sure everyone gets matches, right? So for me, expansion draft is the solution.
Yeah, and kind of going with what you said about people you don't give crap about. I know, Frenchie, we all said that, Brother Loomis, the act kind of got old after one match. And so I definitely see his argument. And I think maybe, shortening it a little bit definitely makes it a little bit better because sometimes less is more.
And no disrespect, but people again, I might get shit for this. I don't care. I am sure he's a cool guy. But like a Mancuso, after a while, how many chances are you going to give the kid, right? It's like there's certain people I think are more tailor-made for FCO and then to really see if they got the chops. They need practice. They need matches, right? So that's how you solution the Paris. The whole match thing is, the Schmoedown might not be the place for them, and they keep losing and they keep cutting their matches. Go to FCO, practice, be ready for the Schmoedown. Now you have a system that you can, practice in certain ways and have your own spotlight that they deserve, but not just get caught out. And you do the expansion draft, you make sure that you get entertainment at the same time. So that's why the FCO is there, man. They need to do a bit of cleanup and see who's up to caliber. And you're right, there's some people, man, it's just like, they're on, and they're like, yeah, they lost,
What would you guys think of holding 8 factions, but each faction has 5 members and each faction you have. Dude, let me finish before you
finish. Then we
Why
can say
would
no.
I?
Let's finish. Then we can say no.
Damn it. Let me finish my words. That's all I'm asking. Each faction has 5 players, and each is required to have 1 for each division. So, in an analogy kind of a way, or a comparison kind of way, you're like you've got 4 positions: first, second, third, shortstop, and you're filling each one of those spots. Then your 5th position is a wild card that you can rotate in any way in any division that you so choose.
Double D, are you lost?
I
stopped listening after a while.
Because
I'm gonna make this simple.
All right.
Aaron, go ahead.
So I was gonna say, I do see your point, Jay. I think, unfortunately, they have expanded so much that I think we're a little beyond that. To cut out that many people, I think is going to create a lot of bad blood. I zoned out for a second because I wanted to take Double D's bit for a second and run some numbers. All right, so the league this year went up by 6 players. Last year we had 90 players. This year we have 96, right? Yeah. Last year, out of all the players on the factions, roughly, because some of them I couldn't remember, and this isn't counting free-for-alls, but roughly 15 out of the 90 players didn't even get a match. And only 1 faction actually succeeded in playing all of their players, which was the dungeon. The Mercs didn't, because Mara didn't play.
But wasn't that scheduling though, and not enough matches for players? Because I have a feeling they drafted a lot of people without checking if they were available or not.
Potentially, but I think that serves the problem of when you have that many people involved, it creates that issue naturally. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think once you've expanded past a certain point, because if we're going with what you're saying, you said 8 and 5, right? So that's 40 players.
Well, it's 40 players.
To cut out over half the players, I think is going to create a lot of bad blood, and it's not going to work.
Wasn't the FCL, then yes, I could understand that. But I mean, people need to understand that just because you were drafted into the big leagues doesn't mean that you automatically have earned a spot to stay there.
You need depth. True. You need depth players, though.
FCL, there is an option to give them. So that
I feel like I can end this right now.
Okay, Double D, go ahead, bro. Bring it up.
Okay, so Jay, let's use baseball terminology. Okay, let's say you have 1 pitcher, and that pitcher has a dislocated shoulder. Now you're out of out of games because you don't have a pitcher. That's why you have more pitchers in the league.
That's what the 5th member is for. They're the wild card. And
why would you limit that just to 1 faction? Why don't you have more than 1?
Realistic here. Hold on, because somebody's not going to not compete or not compete at a higher level because they dislocated their shoulder in the Schmoedown. That's not a very fair comparison.
You're making the analogy.
No, name me 1 play. Okay, how often has someone from the Schmoedown, like a singles player, started and then just not been able to play anymore for whatever reason? It rarely happens, and that's that fifth open
JTE. JTE did crash his bird and was gone for like 2 years. So
there's that. But my point is that when let's say we use that analogy where there's only 5 players, you have 1 rotation. You're in tournament season, and now 2 of your competitors are out. What do you do now? So you're out for.
Hold on. Frenchie is out of the studio and he's on stereo.
Yeah, because my internet crashed apparently. So I'm just resetting the internet until I can. So I'll just listen and talk to you guys on stereo until I can go back in.
Well, we're about to do plugs and then quit the show anyway. So
all right, I have to say the audio quality is immaculate.
Can I just quickly piggyback on what Dan was just saying there? I think that the idea is that if there's scheduling issues, there's a lot of people that are just super busy, that's almost the equivalent of like someone that goes on the IL or somebody gets sent back down to the minor leagues. So similar to what we were just talking about with the FCL, like that's what that's kind of there for, is if like maybe shortening the rosters and cutting it down a little bit might actually help in that regard, because then those people that sign up to play in the Schmoedown and then can't get a match, then it's like, okay, they have scheduling issues, so that they drop out, somebody else could replace them. But I think that just the fact that there's so many competitors right now, it's great to have 3 matches a week and everything, but I think the field is getting a little crowded, and we've seen certain players already that I feel like could be dropped. So I kind of like the idea of cutting down the rosters as well, I have to say.
And I'll make a final note on this because I'm the host and I want to. But just to reiterate, I mean, that's what that 5th spot is for. You don't you keep it open so that if something happens, you can use that spot to do anything you want. So say your Inner Geekdom player has a match scheduled, they're sick, then you use your extra spot, you go down in the FCL and you pull someone up for the match. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. It's not like, I don't know, that it makes sense to me, and that's all that matters in my head. So Double D, do not comment on what I just said. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you at, please, sir?
You're wrong. And you can find me on Twitter simply at Dane Dolinski. And leave a comment down below if there is something that you want to find out about statistics on the YouTube channel. Because we'll take that comment, we'll plug your name in there, and I'll definitely give you credit, and we'll analyze that from that.
Oh, yeah. And Aaron from Schmo. No, I wrote it down. Schmo Talks. I always want to say Schmoes Talk, but Schmo Talks. Thanks for joining us this week, man. It's a lot of fun. And it was good to hear your thoughts and your opinions on everything. Why don't you tell folks where they can find you at and what you got going on?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything that I'm a part of is over on the YouTube channel, TMG Entertainment. I'm the host and producer behind 2 of their shows, Schmo Talks, which has unfortunately been on a forced hiatus due to editing issues in the last couple of weeks. But it's every week. It's a Schmoedown show. It's the last couple of weeks we've been doing some panel-style shows, but it's mainly an interview show where I'm talking to both members of the Schmoedown and fans and just kind of letting everyone kind of speak their perspective on the show. I also host and produce a show called After Dark, which actually goes live at 9 p.m. EST every Saturday night, and that's kind of where we get a couple of people on our crew to hang out. We talk movies, all the latest in the movie world, and it's just kind of a laid-back, do whatever you like kind of show.
Excellent. Be sure and check that out, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And the Dagan, most folks just know you as the guy with the Rolling Stones lips.
Stones avatar, yeah.
Dagan, thanks for being here this week, man. It was fun.
Absolutely. I really appreciate the offer having me on. I hope I could be on again at some point in the future. You can find me on the Twitter at DaganSB. So that's at DAGANSB. And I do a Schmoedown talk show with my buddy Corey Cameron on stereo. Usually it varies by week depending on the matches, but this week we're going live tomorrow, Sunday at 5:30 Eastern. And usually if there's a pay-per-view, we'll do it on the weekends. So next week will probably be on the weekend as well. And today we actually just had Kirby French versus Cooley High in our second movie trivia stereo match there. So definitely go ahead and check that out, stereo.com/DaganSB. And I'm not just that guy with the Stones avatar. I have a face as well. So I appreciate you guys having me on today.
And a voice.
Our producer, since he's on screen, man, welcome back. I thought you were mad at me because I was making so much sense about the eight factions and 5 players per thing.
No, but I'm like Darth Vader. I'm always mad, right?
Yeah.
So. All right. No, but you can find me on Schmoes in North, my channel, where a bunch of Canucks and now non-Canucks speak about Schmoedown and a lot of things like Taco's talking about Star Wars. We got comic book show. We got my life show. So there's a lot of things to check up. Also, you can find on the channel right now, Mount Schmoedown in around half an hour are doing their own coverage. We've also John from Movie Lovers Unite. And you can also find me on the can because I really need to go shit very soon. All right.
So much information.
Yeah. Y'all can find me on the Twitter and stereo at JWade1134. That's the letter JWADE1134. Also on Twitter and stereo at the Jcast Network. Please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff here. We do the Mad Batch on Friday nights. Last night it was myself, Dean Lewis, and Paige for Betty. And they drove me crazy. I had to mute them a couple times, and at one point I was yelling, "Shut up, shut up." I just wanted to talk on my own shit show, dude. That was all I wanted. Well, if you think that was too much information.
No, he's talking about me going to the bathroom.
I know, because before you said that, I actually was about to plug our newest venture that Frenchie and I are going in on together. Everyone, launching next month in June, Frenchie and we are starting a joint OnlyFans account. I will be going by the name Bubble Gut.
Yeah.
Bubble Gut. And
my OnlyFans name's gonna be Frenchie in your mouth.
See, we got Frenchie in your mouth and Bubble Gut. And that's the thing I'm gonna do. See, you know that song is like Bubble Butt, Bubble Butt. I'm gonna change the lyrics and it's gonna be like Bubble Gut, Bubble Gut. And
okay, I'm saving everyone from the details. We're skipping the details, Jay Wade.
Okay.
Will you on the shitter be on your OnlyFans?
That's I don't know. We have
a lot. Yeah, we have a lot of structured things. So, like, am I wearing leather, gag ball, no gag ball? We do not know.
I call it.
Welcome
to the shit show, Dagan and Aaron.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know
and
about.
I'm usually the one in between them two.
Yeah, poor guy.
I'm all messed up.
Yeah.
Just lay there and let them do the work.
It's the only thing that keeps me sane.
You know what, Dan? You can do a stats number for OnlyFans.
No, I'm not touching that.
There's a 20% chance. There's a 20% chance Jay Wade is in the back.
I was thinking start simple, just get out a ruler and just.
I'll be in the back. I've got a long arm. Anyway, on that note, everyone have a great week, and we will be back next week, same time, but with a longer show.
My therapist is going to get a big update for me.
Yeah.
You want to hear something funny? The mic wasn't on that whole time.
No way.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, wow.
So smooth.